It is coming up now on 8:08. You are listening to Acadiana's Morning News with Bernie and Ian. And now we get to have some guests via the telephone this morning. The St. Martin Parish Council Chairman Chris Tozan and St. Martin Parish President Chester Cedars. Gentlemen, thank y'all so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you. Thank you, Bernie.
So we want to talk to y'all about flooding for St. Martin Parish, some of the challenges that you guys face there for residents. And can y'all talk to us a little bit about that? Kind of give us an overview, maybe?
Yeah, I'll be happy to, Bernie. I think the first thing I'd like to do is just maybe impart some information that most people are not aware of relative to the nature of our parish. We are from a population perspective, a small parish, 52,000 plus citizens. However, geographically, our parish consists of 816 square miles. 738 of those square miles of area or land. Contrast that to, say, Lafayette Parish, which I think is about 270 square miles. So we have a lot of mileage that we have to address and take care of. Moreover, our parish is not a contiguous parish. We're one of the few parishes or counties in the country that is separate in that we have what's called Lower St. Martin Parish down just southeast of Morgan City, called the Stevensville and Bell River communities. So literally our parish our jurisdiction runs from Orneville to Morgan City. So it's a very, very large area. Consequently, you can imagine that with that kind of square mileage and with the topography of our area in South Louisiana, we certainly have our challenges with regard to flooding and high water events. But we've been very proactive in St. Martin Parish, and let's take August of 2016. We all remember what happened then.
Yeah.
Well, that kind of lit the fuse and caused everybody to start paying attention to floodplain issues, watershed issues. Mm-hmm. St. Martin Parish, I submit to you, is the first parish in our region, if not the state, to take an active role in addressing watershed issues, just not locally, but from a regional perspective. We did that. Mr. Guy Cormier was our parish president at the time, and he was very active propagating the message that watershed issues should be addressed regionally. Mm-hmm. Moreover, St. Martin Parish residents in December of 2016 approved a bond proposition for $20 million dedicated solely to major drainage projects. Those bonds were sold in the early summer of 2017. The voters approved it by about a 60 to 40% margin, I believe, was the vote. So the taxpayers in St. Martin Parish stepped up to the plate, and we then, as a result of having voter approval, sold the bonds, got the ability to spend $20 million on drainage projects. And I'm not talking about local canals. I'm talking about major drainage channels that has a regional effect. Mm-hmm. And we put on the drawing board several major projects. We'll begin with something called the Jodad Canal Project, which is a $6 million project. There's two phases to it, and we're about to go out for bids, I think on June 30th or thereabout, for the Jodad Canal. We finally got our core permits.
So
that's going to be $4.2 million. Wow. Every single penny of that, St. Martin Parish taxpayer money, period. We're not getting any assistance from anyone else. Phase 2 of that project would be about $1.8 million. We're dredging Catahoula Lake, local taxpayer money, $1.5 million. The Catahoula Lake dredging project is going to do several things. One is going to relieve flooding issues as far north as Rapides Parish.
Wow.
The water that finds its way to the Catahoula Lake comes from the Red River into Bayou Catawba, into Bayou Ami, to Catahoula Lake, and then goes south. We're going to dredge that lake. That's state-owned lakes under the state's jurisdiction. It's a navigable waterway. It ought to be the Corps doing it, but we're not waiting for anybody else. We're going to do it. Local taxpayer money, $1.5 million. We finally got all the Corps permits for that project. That should be starting in the fall. We hope late August, early September.
Okay.
Then we have the Cypress Bayou Coulee LaSalle project, $4 million. Now, we're getting some help with that.
Okay.
$2 million of our local taxpayer money has been dedicated from that bond issue for this project. Hazardous mitigation money of $2 million been dedicated through an Acadiana Planning Commission award. And we think just recently $1 million has been allocated through the LWI, Louisiana Watershed Initiative. We hope to get final approval for that in a couple weeks. So, again, another major project that's going to have a significant regional effect, particularly for the Youngsville-Broussard area, as well as St. Martin. Then we got up in the Orneville area, we have the Bayou Fusilier Point Brûlé project. That's still in the development phase. That's a $3 million project, local taxpayer money. We have something called the Bayou Portage/Brobridge Manor project that addresses another major drainage lateral for the central part of our parish. About 25 square miles are going to be affected. That's about about a $5.5 million project right now. Fortunately, I'm sorry, that's a $3 million project. We got $2.2 million through hazardous mitigation money for that. We're putting up about $800,000 ourselves. In Lower St. Martin Parish, we've been working for over a decade on a Bayou Estate floodwall project. We went out for bids last year. Our budget was $4.7 million for that project. The low bid came in at $9.4 million. But that's okay. We just hired another engineering firm to redesign it, and we're going out for bids hopefully in a couple of months on that project. And with the modifications, we're hoping to bring it in on budget. So again, I think we've been very active. I think we're the first parish in the region to put its money where its mouth. We're doing more than talking. We're not just relying upon hazardous mitigation money or federal money or state money. We stepped up to the plate, we being the local taxpayers of St. Martin Parish. And I'm very excited what we're doing. I'm very proud of our community. I'm very proud of the stance that we've taken, and we're making things happen. It's the frustrating thing about all that is the regulatory procedures that we have to adhere to, getting the core permits, getting DNR permits. That is a very time-consuming and, quite frankly, expensive endeavor. But, we can't argue with City Hall. We can do two things. We can cry and complain about it, or we can get off our rear ends and make it happen, and I think we've done the latter.
Ian, go ahead. I know you're jumping into
the question I have is, with all of this going on in St. Martin, you guys have been working. We've been hearing a lot about dredging the Vermilion, and that's the latest project that's happening here in Lafayette, where two areas of the Vermilion near the Coulee Mean and Coulee Ildacon will be dredged to lower levels there. How does that or any other dredging on the Vermilion River affect St. Martin Parish in terms of flooding? And building on that, the other Lafayette Parish plans for flood mitigation, how ultimately will that affect St. Martin Parish, its plans, or its residents?
In my very humble lay opinion, very insignificantly.
Okay.
I don't think it's going to have a significant impact one way or the other. I know one project that Lafayette's been talking about that involves our Cypress Island community. And notice I used the word community, not swamp.
Right.
Cypress Island community. We're very suspicious as to some of the claims as to what that might do. We think it's going to have more of a negative effect, but we're studying that. We're working with Lafayette to study it. We're certainly not embracing it or endorsing that type of activity. Again, to answer your question, Ian, directly, what I would like to do to protect our parish relative to the Vermilion, I'd like to put some more levee system to keep the Vermilion from coming into St. Martin Parish in high water events.
Yeah.
But we know that's not reasonable to consider. But again, I don't know of any project that Lafayette has that's going to have a significant effect on St. Martin Parish. Chris, you've been involved in this longer than I.
No, I don't see where it's going to cause us any problems with any dredging. We are, we're not impeding the water from the Vermilion traveling, north and south. I don't think we'd have any kind of effect on us whatsoever. I don't see where it hurts us or helps us by dredging the Vermilion, spot dredging the Vermilion.
And look, we're all for whatever it takes to help Lafayette out in this endeavor,
right,
so long as it doesn't imperil us.
Yeah, are y'all very worried about that area that you just spoke of? Forgive me, it just slipped my mind about
the Cypress Island.
Cypress Island, yes, thank you, Ian. Are you very worried as you look at the plan now that would then back up water if Lafayette does that into that community in St. Martin Parish?
Well, worried, I don't know if that's the correct word. Let's just say that we're very concerned about it, yes. And look, we endorse the study if Lafayette Parish wants to study, and I think they've been studying it. And I've always taken that position that, if another jurisdiction wants to study a project, that's fine. Go study it. Not on my nickel, but go study it, number one. Number two, I don't want anybody to think that another jurisdiction is going to come into St. Martin Parish and do any kind of work that's going to put our people, our businesses, our infrastructure at risk, at undue risk. We will resist that to the utmost, period. And that's the position we've taken on that particular issue from day one. And I'm aware of it, and we're keeping a close eye on it. As a matter of fact, I've had conversations with Lafayette Parish officials about that particular project, and they have represented to me from day one that they would share all important data, all models, all studies with us. Unfortunately, those representations up until last Thursday have proven to be somewhat hollow because they haven't shared it. We did receive some plans last Thursday, May 27th, the afternoon after I had a meeting with Lafayette Parish officials on this matter. But again, I want everyone to understand, and I want it made perfectly clear that the position of St. Martin Parish is simple, and we've articulated this from day one. We will work with everyone to address watershed issues from a regional perspective. We've been doing it since December 2016, and we've put our money where our mouth is. Mm-hmm. However, we're not going to do anything, and we're not going to sit idly by and let another jurisdiction do anything that's going to put in danger one single resident, one business, one piece of infrastructure as a result of public work in our jurisdiction, period. We're not going to do that. I was put in this position to protect St. Martin Parish first and foremost, and I will do so.
Mm-hmm. Understood. So let me ask you this. For the person who doesn't deal with this every day, the folks that are listening, how time-consuming and difficult is it to deal with the environmental issues and with the Army Corps of Engineers? And I'm not trying to disparage anyone by any means. It's just the way government operates.
That's a very, very good question, and I can answer it in this fashion. Before I started dealing with these regulatory agencies, my hair was solid black. Today it's solid gray.
Whoa!
But I'm lucky. My director of public works doesn't have any hair. He pulled it all out. So it's difficult to deal with them. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of regulatory hurdles that we have to cross. I mean, Bernadette, we've been dealing with the Corps on the Catahoula Lake issues and on the Joe Dagg Canal issues for years. And look, I'm not criticizing the Corps. There's regulations that have been established by the United States Congress that they have to implement, right. And that's what they're doing. They're implementing the rules that were given to them by Congress. It's just time-consuming and it's frustrating, and more importantly, it's expensive. Some of that money that we could be using to dredge, for example, Catahoula Lake, we're having to pay engineers to do studies. We're having to mitigate certain wetland areas as a result of court judicial determinations. So we're having to divert some money we could be using for actual flood mitigation purposes to address those regulatory issues. That's frustrating, time-consuming and frustrating. But look, like I said before, we didn't spend time complaining. We spent time following the rules so that we can get the permits, which we've gotten several permits now just in the last several months, and we got our shovels sharpened, ready. We got our people ready. We want to start our projects. We want to start true flood mitigation by digging, by enhancing our laterals.
So at this point,
Bernie, when you hear these people say that we're going to start dredging in the next 60 days or 90 days or a year or so, when you stop and think about it, in 2016 we passed this bond, and here we are today, and we just getting permits lately, but we haven't shoveled the first shovel of dirt yet. It's time consuming, and what every project we're doing is going to alleviate flooding in St. Martin Parish and keeping the federal government hopefully from coming over here to have to rebuild us and through FEMA money and everything else, and this is what we're working on. But it's just so time consuming and all, and it's kind of discouraging when you see most of your money go to planning and engineering and mitigation and all, where that money actually should be going straight to the project, especially when a lot of this stuff it's really the Corps' issue, and state issues, but we take it upon ourselves because we're tired of watching our people flood.
Yeah.
And that Cypress Island area, what we call the community, Cypress Island community, that in 2016, that was one of our last areas to dry out over there. And we've been dealing with flooding issues there for a long time, too, and we've addressed that with the Jodea Canal and a few other projects that we have going on and that we've done. But we want to be good neighbors with everybody. We've worked with St. Landry Parish, and we work very, very closely with Iberia Parish. And we have good neighbors that help us, and we've worked with Lafayette Parish before on other issues. We want to be good neighbors with everybody, but we want to be treated good, too.
Yeah, and I don't blame you. St. Martin has so many issues. Iberia has so many issues. I mean, it's not like, think about all the things that got started after Katrina. You would think at this point, because things have changed so drastically yet again in the last 10 years, that our federal delegation would be able to do something to help all of us. You would think that there'd be more to be done.
That's well said, and that just ignites an issue that I think is really, really critical when you talk about Katrina and in 2005. I think that the first thing that we have to do as a region is we have to be careful and not point fingers at others.
Yeah.
Because, what's the old saying, when you point a finger at somebody, you got four more coming back at you?
Yeah.
We haven't been very smart in the state of Louisiana. We have not been very smart in Acadiana. Because, you see, we were more interested in development. Let's develop, let's develop, let's develop, let's build, let's build, let's build. And we didn't look at floodplain issues that were associated with all that development until just now. And in many instances, it makes now flood mitigation very much more difficult. Talking about the Cypress Island area, I've heard some comments. We're going to restore it to its natural state. That's such a fallacious statement, because that natural state abandoned us a long time ago because of all the development we had. We just can't go tear out and destroy developments that have taken place.
Right.
So now, from this point forward, we have to have smart floodplain ordinances. We have to have smart floodplain management when we develop. We just can't do it singularly. So it's not as simple as let's get a shovel and go dredge, or let's get a shovel and let's go enhance this canal. We've got to look at the effects on others, and we've got to look at, hey, is it really going to alleviate or ameliorate any kind of significant problem that we have? So it's so many moving parts, and it's somewhat complex, quite frankly.
Yeah, I would imagine so. Ian?
Yeah, and the big question here is, going forward, what do you hope to see from not just Lafayette or federal officials, but from officials across the region and across the state? What more can everyone do to make sure that southern Louisiana, Acadiana, is protected from future flooding?
Number one, put your money where your mouth is.
Yeah.
Number two, be smart in how you plan your projects. Number three, continue to address it, understanding that flooding is a regional issue. That's what we can do. But again, the danger to all of this, don't spend all your time studying. Because, a lot of times we spend months, years and years studying, and by the time the study is complete, your total environment upon which that study is based has changed.
Yeah.
The study becomes absolutely useless, and you spend a ton of money and wasted a lot of time. So Be reasonable in your approach and move quickly and move aggressively. That's what St. Martin Parish did beginning in December of 2016 when we asked our voters to give us $20 million to address these major projects that I just mentioned.
Well, gentlemen, I have to say thank you very much. Ian and I very much appreciate the overview, the look at it, and giving us more perspective. And obviously, not only just for us, but everybody in Acadiana, too. We have been speaking with St. Martin Parish Council Chairman Chris Tozan and St. Martin Parish President Chester Cedars. Gentlemen, thank you so much. We'd like to update again in another couple of months.
And whenever you have any questions, please feel free to give us a call, and we'll keep you posted.
I love it, gentlemen. Thank y'all so
Thank you
much.
very
Have
much.
a terrific week.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Coming up now on 8:29.
Already?
Yep. It might have seemed a little NPR-ish, but I feel like we got a good perspective. Watch out for a fender bender this morning. It's on University between West Congress and Souvenir Gate. That's West University between West Congress and Souvenir Gate. Hey, if you got an update on traffic, give us a call on the Cajun Country Rice landline, 237-KTDY. You can also text us using the KTDY mobile app's chat feature. Brought to you by Bonton Grill, baby. That's your up-to-the-minute traffic report. I am your Bernadette Lee.